you. Can't stand nobody like you. You can't run, you can't hide. No surprise, close your eyes, come with me.
Recently I had read an article titled One Town's War on Gay Teens in the political news section of rollingstone.com, where essentially it talks about Michelle-Bachmann's former residence, Anoka, Minnesota, has basically been a center of a rash of suicides among teenagers. And part of the problem being was that the teachers had been stopped from preventing anti-gay bullying through legislation that was passed by the school board, not with parental consent. It wasn't even broadcast and discussed, but rather it was passed in secret because the school board had wanted to appease the evangelical fundamentalist Christian homophobes. You can see what kind of video I'm building up to right now. There comes a point where we have to look at this situation and ask ourselves, what the fuck is going on here? We pass legislation to prevent racist bullying, to prevent bullying based on gender, but we refuse to pass laws against bullying based on sexual orientation? Really? Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not talking about preventing free speech here. This is about specifically targeting kids for violence, for harassment, for just downright malicious behavior simply on the basis of sexual orientation. And the people who are promoting this idea of stopping this, the people who are promoting this kind of bullying are the evangelical fundy Christians. Now, of course, they're going to tell you, no, we don't believe in bullying. Bullying is wrong. Bullying is against God. It makes baby Jesus cry. But in the same time, they tell people that they're abominations, that they're twisted, that they're going to hell. How the fuck is that not bullying? How the fuck is that not harassment? How the fuck is that not torture? Oh, I'm just telling people the truth. I'm just telling people what the Bible says. Yeah, the Bible says you shouldn't eat pork either, dumbass. The Bible says you shouldn't wear two kinds of fabric. The Bible says that if your daughter gets raped, you can force her to marry her rapist. Do you do any of that? No. The Bible says to love justice and do mercy and walk humbly before the sight of your God. Do you do any of that? No. The Bible says to feed the hungry, to clothe the naked, to look after the fatherless and the widow. Do you dumb fucks do that? No. But instead, you have to tie the hands of teachers so they can't deal with anti-gay bullying. Why? Because homosexuality is against God. Really? So is harassing people to the point where they commit suicide. You know, there comes a point where parents and teachers and human beings need to stand up and say, you know what? This shit is fucking wrong. You do not have permission to use your religion as an excuse to badger teenagers and to harass them. You do not have the excuse of using baby Jesus as a reason to go around tossing kids into locker rooms and throwing shit at them, calling them fags. You don't get to do that anymore. When are adults going to stand up and start being adults and start looking after these kids? When are they going to stop using these kids as a political ploy and an excuse to go around making legislation, making everybody else's life difficult? Because let me tell you something. A lot of these kids have enough to go through as it is. It is extremely difficult being an LGBT teenager because you're always questioning as to whether or not you're right or you're correct, or why are all these weird feelings happening? How come I'm not like everybody else? Hell, most teenagers go through that shit. All of them teenagers go through this shit. And you want to make their lives that much difficult by letting a bunch of dickhead jocks run around having an excuse that they're gay? That way they can be picked on? Really? And you want to tie the hands of teachers to stop anti-gay bullying? Why? What does that get you? Does it get you points with baby Jesus? Does it give you a little crown on your head? That's not how you get a crown. That's not how you get a pat on the head from baby Jesus. Look after the oppressed. Look after the people who are tormented and vexed by other people simply because of stupidity and ignorance and foolishness. How hard is that to understand that you don't bring people to God by giving the other kids permission to treat them like garbage? Maybe it was in the time I grew up when I was a funny Christian. But we would never even think of doing things like this because we understand that that kind of shit is wrong. We were taught right. Maybe it was the people that I grew up with in the church. We were taught not to do this kind of shit because it's wrong. But instead, you have Christians going around telling people that it's okay to bully kids if they're queer. That is what you're saying. It's okay to bully kids if you're queer. It's not okay to bully them if they're of different color. Oh, we can't do that anymore. We can't bully people based on their gender. We can't do that anymore. We can't bully people based on their religion. We can't do that anymore. But we can sure as hell pick on the queers. I don't know, maybe you should try acting like a fucking human being for once and stop politicizing this issue and let kids be kids. One group even opposed a gay-straight alliance club in the school simply because it would promote teens to have sex. Really? Like teens don't fuck in the church? I can tell you stories here, buddy. And it doesn't even occur to you for 1 minute that straight kids have more sex than hetero. I just can't believe the level of stupidity of these people. It's unbelievable. Really? This shit needs to stop, and it needs to stop soon. Because if not, we are fucking doomed as a country. We are fucked as a country if we continue to allow these evangelical fundy Christians to continue to run roughshod over our legislation. This shit needs to stop. Because evidently they can't handle the concept of liberty and freedom. And if they can't handle the concept of liberty and freedom, then maybe they should just get the fuck out of the United States of America. Next!